The arena was built to test monsters, creatures bred in black laboratories, warriors raised on furnace worlds, and killers who had never known mercy. Today, the crowd waited for blood, expecting nothing from the newest challenger, a human. Whispers turned to laughter when he walked into the arena without fanfare, without armor, carrying only light gear and calm eyes. He didn't roar or threaten. He simply observed. The other combatants towered over him, horned beasts from Solrax, fang-jawed war lizards from Korthar, and silicon-skinned brutes that shattered stone with a swipe. The crowd expected a spectacle that would end in seconds. After all, humans were fragile, weren't they? The signal blared. Chaos erupted. Creatures lunged. Dust rose. But when the dust settled, a silence spread like a wave through the stands. One body twitched on the ground, its spine shattered. Another groaned, unable to stand. Then another. Within minutes, the human had taken down 3, then 4, then 7 enemies, each more brutal than the last. And he hadn't even drawn a blade. He used leverage, pressure points, speed, and knowledge. The crowd no longer laughed. They leaned forward, eyes wide. This wasn't just survival, this was dominance. The camera zoomed in on his face, expecting rage or fear. But his expression was unreadable. Not cold, not proud, just focused. As he knelt to check the pulse of the last enemy he downed, the arena fell completely quiet. Somewhere in the command booth, a general whispered, "That's not a warrior, that's something else." And far above, behind thick glass, high-ranking officials began questioning the one thing they had always assumed, that humanity was weak. As the humans stood silently in the middle of the blood-stained arena, eyes scanning for new threats, a quiet panic began to spread beyond the walls. In the control chamber, a Xarnath admiral froze, staring at the footage, his memory pulling him back to a forgotten battlefield years ago, a rescue mission gone wrong, where his elite squad was ambushed not by machines or monsters, but by 3 human scouts who fought like shadows and vanished like ghosts. Elsewhere, a Varani tactician remembered a report labeled Classified Deathworlders, filled with strange survival stories, humans walking barefoot across acid marshes, hunting predators twice their size with homemade traps, and surviving space crashes without suits. No one had taken those reports seriously. Until now. On diplomatic channels, old warnings were being replayed. "Do not provoke Earth unnecessarily," they once said. But greed and pride had buried the caution. In the arena, the human was still calm, still breathing evenly, as if this chaos was familiar. He wasn't a trained killer, they discovered, just a mountain rescue expert from Earth. That fact alone chilled the room. If this was how an ordinary human fought under pressure, what would happen if Earth sent someone trained for war? By the 4th hour, the surviving champions had seen enough to understand the truth: this human wasn't just lucky. He was dangerous. Too dangerous to face alone. 6 remaining warriors from different species formed a silent alliance, something never done in the Apex trials before. They circled him in the rocky basin of the arena, weapons drawn, each step calculated. But the human didn't run or flinch. He simply watched, letting them move closer. Then, everything changed in seconds. One attacker lunged. The human shifted sideways, used the creature's momentum, and slammed it into another. A blade meant for him struck a teammate instead. Chaos exploded. He moved through them like he could read their minds, dodging, striking, using their own power against them. Every movement was efficient, controlled, and brutal. Within minutes, 2 lay unconscious. One screamed with a dislocated arm, and the rest backed away in fear. The crowd gasped. Not at the violence, but at the skill. It wasn't wild rage, it was survival turned into an art. For the first time in years, the trials weren't entertainment. They were a warning. And as blood soaked into the dust, the galaxy realized something horrifying. Humans didn't need to fight as a team to win. One was enough. Far above the arena, inside a quiet observation chamber, diplomats and military commanders watched in disbelief. Messages poured into the control room, urgent, encrypted, and filled with one question: who is this human? On the human monitoring ship, Earth's envoy received a direct call from the Galactic Council. Their voices trembled beneath official tones as they asked, "What exactly did you send into the trials?" The envoy gave a calm reply, "An average man. A mountain rescue worker." The silence that followed was heavier than any war declaration. Across star systems, news networks replayed the footage of the human defeating six champions alone, using no advanced weapons, no cybernetics, just instinct and skill. On warships, admirals paused their drills. On colonies, civilians watched with awe and fear. And in political chambers, the conversation shifted. Plans to expand near human territory were quietly shelved. Treaties, once ignored, were suddenly being revisited. The message was clear. Earth had not come to show power, they came to survive. And if survival looked like this, no one wanted to imagine what war would look like. Back in the arena, as medics checked the fallen, the humans stood quietly, breathing steadily, not celebrating, not boasting. A nearby drone captured his final words before the feed ended. "You should be asking yourself, what would have happened if I was trained for this?" That line spread faster than any warning beacon. The galaxy had underestimated Earth. Now, they wouldn't dare again. Because this wasn't about one human winning a trial, it was about a truth none of them wanted to face. Humanity didn't fight for sport. They fought when necessary. And when they didn't stop until it was over. Completely over. The final gate opened with a thunderous groan, and the last challenger stepped into the arena, a creature unlike the others, taller than the human, armored in living plates, eyes glowing with artificial intelligence, and muscles enhanced by genetic design. It had no name, only a number, X-91, the perfect weapon created for war and destruction. Built in labs, raised in isolation, it had been unleashed only once before, leaving behind only ruins. Now, it was here to finish the human who had humiliated the galaxy's best. The crowd held its breath. The human stood still, eyes locked on the monster, showing no fear, no reaction. As the signal blared, X-91 charged like a falling star. But the human didn't flinch. He waited, calm, focused, and at the last second stepped aside with surgical precision. What followed was not a battle, it was a masterclass in control. The human didn't try to overpower X-91. He broke its balance, used its weight against it, targeted weak joints, and struck with precision that came not from training but from survival instinct, honed on a world where even the air could kill. After several brutal minutes, the giant fell to its knees, systems failing, its artificial voice whispering, "How?" The human leaned close and said quietly, "We don't quit. That's how." The arena erupted into silence, not cheers. Across the stars, governments rethought everything they believed about humans. Earth hadn't sent a soldier. They had sent a survivor. And that survivor had dismantled an apex predator designed to win. As the human walked away, bruised but standing tall, the galaxy didn't see a victor, they saw a warning. Earth didn't need armies to make a statement. One was enough. And if this was what an ordinary human could do, no one wanted to know what an angry one might become.